We're talking about the architecture of self-sabotage. So let's start with a scenario. Does this sound at all familiar? You know exactly what you want to do. I mean, your goals are crystal clear. They're sharp, defined, maybe even written down somewhere.
And you're not just, wishing on a star. You've actually got a plan. And it's a good one. It's logical. It's smart. On paper, it's a straight shot from point A to point B. It all makes perfect sense.
And yet, crickets. The engine's running, but the car isn't moving. You keep stalling out, hitting these invisible walls. You might chalk it up to bad luck, but what's really going on is something else entirely.
This whole frustrating cycle, we can call it the progress paradox. And there is a prime suspect behind it all. Its name? Self-sabotage. So today, we're going to learn how to spot it, how to catch it in the act before it quietly wrecks all your hard work. Now, we need to be really clear about something. Self-sabotage is not just being lazy. Laziness is not wanting to do the work. Self-sabotage is different. It's a weird kind of protective reflex where your brain chooses immediate comfort, even though you know it's costing you your bigger goals down the line. So, what does this look like in the wild? What's its MO? Well, it's a master of disguise, really. Sometimes it just looks like simple delay, procrastination. Other times it's that endless spiral of overthinking. Or maybe it's just straight up avoidance. And then there's that super frustrating one, quitting right when things are about to get good. Or my personal favorite, making things way more complicated than they need to be. So let's get into the evidence. How do you actually know if this is what's happening? We're going to go through 7 key signs, basically 7 clues that tell you self-sabotage is at play. All right, clue number 1. You delay right at the finish line. Or really, right at the starting line. You do all the prep, you make the plans, you do the research, but you never actually start. It's that classic, I'm just waiting for the perfect time excuse, which, let's be honest, never, ever shows up. Okay, clue number 2 is a big one. You create complexity where it doesn't need to exist. This is when you convince yourself you need the perfect routine or the perfect software before you can possibly begin. You spend hours optimizing your tools instead of just using them. Complexity is such a great hiding place for fear. Now, this next one is so weird, it's almost funny. You quit right when you're about to win. Seriously, it happens right when your hard work and consistency are about to pay off, or maybe right after you get a little bit of momentum going. It's like your brain sees the finish line and just slams on the brakes. Sign number 4 is a little more of a mind game. It's when you get too comfortable with your potential. You tell yourself things like, oh, I know I could do so much better if I really tried. Potential becomes this cozy shield. Because as long as you never give it 100%, you never have to risk finding out that 100% wasn't enough. Clue number 5 is all about willful ignorance. You don't track anything. Not your time, not your habits, not your results. And why not? Because numbers are honest. They don't have excuses. And self-sabotage really needs ambiguity to survive. It can't stand up to cold, hard facts. And here we go. Clue number 6. I think we all feel this one. You know exactly what you should be doing, the thing that's aligned with your goals. But instead, you scroll. You find a distraction. You do an easy, unimportant task. We call it taking a break. But a lot of the time, it's just avoidance wearing a costume. And finally, the 7th and most damning clue of all, your actions and your words just don't match up. You say, I want growth, I want to change, I want to achieve this thing. But your daily behavior, it shows zero consistency, no structure, no sacrifice. That gap between what you say you want and what you actually do, that's the smoking gun. Okay, so we've seen the what and the how. But that just leads to the biggest question of all, why? Why on earth would our own minds work against us? Let's dig in and uncover the motive. When you really boil it all down, it comes from 3 main places. 3 really powerful psychological forces that are driving this whole mess. The first one is the most obvious, a deep fear of failure. It's that little voice in your head that whispers, hey, if you give this everything you've got and you still fail, what does that say about you? So by sabotaging your own effort, you create a built-in excuse. You get to say, well, I didn't really try that hard anyway. But the second motive is the total opposite. And it's a sneaky one, the fear of success. Because think about it, if you actually succeed, your life has to change.
You'll have new responsibilities, new expectations, people might see you differently, and that change, even when it's good, is still unknown territory, and the unknown can be terrifying. And the third motive, this one's the deepest. It's an identity conflict. This happens when your goals have outgrown who you think you are. See, your brain's number one job isn't to make you successful, it's to keep your identity stable. So if a new goal threatens your current self-image, your brain will protect the identity first, even if it means torpedoing your progress. So here's the good news. We are not just victims here. We can absolutely fight back against this programming. So let's get practical. Let's walk through a 5-step action plan to take this thing down. Here's the strategy. It's 5 parts. First, you've got to name the pattern. Give your specific brand of sabotage a name. Second, shrink the action. Make the first step so tiny it's almost ridiculous not to do it. Third, remove the friction. Make it easier to do the right thing than the wrong thing. Fourth, track only one metric. Simplify, simplify, simplify. And finally, number 5, and this is the most important one, you have to completely redefine what success looks like. And let's just park on that last step for a second, because it's a total game changer. We have to change how we define a win. The old way is all about the final outcome, right? That creates so much pressure. The new definition of success is just showing up. Did you do the tiny thing you said you were going to do? Yes? That's a win. That's it. It completely detaches your sense of worth from the final results.
So let's wrap this up. Self-sabotage isn't some deep character flaw. It's a signal. It's just a flare your subconscious is sending up to tell you, hey, you're at the edge of your comfort zone. Growth is happening. And people who succeed don't waste time on shame. They just get curious and start redesigning their environment and their behaviors. Once you learn to see these patterns for what they are, and you learn to act anyway, even when it's uncomfortable, that's when sabotage loses all of its power. And that is where the real progress finally gets to begin. So, the question to leave you with is this: what growth are you ready to stop avoiding?